Must I wail and scream, oh my mother? The ground shakes, the skies weep. O Fatima, from your broken chest the blood seeps. No words are spoken, the throne itself is broken, yet the death of Mohsin will never go unspoken. The flowers wither, the life departs, the graves turn, the heart cries, the body aches, the house ablaze, the door crushed, the pain engulfs, the lion chokes, Zahra's rib has just been broke. Ali shakes, the Prophet wails, in Zahra's chest a nail. The ground shakes, the skies weep. O Fatima, from your broken chest the blood seeps. I close my eyes, terror I envisage, part of me dies. Salawat. I would now like to call up Sister Fatima Al-Hakim to show her poetic words. Salawat Allah Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Tonight's poem is from the perspective of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, as he sees Sayyida Zainab and the rest of his family members prepare for the events of Karbala. Please sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Through her eyes, I see not sorrow but a vision. Despite the pain, I only see her build strength for this mission. I look deeper to see a glimpse of sadness, a tear of loneliness, of loss. But her eyes, I see them look across, past the river and the broken armor, the blooded arrows in the canister. I look within the eyes of the lady who from her has been taken her world, yet I do not find a look that's sinister. I see her eyes look down, then to her left and right, then above, as though showing me the phases of her mourning. She's faced the loss, sees the battles that will surround her, but still she looks above, because above all this is for God. And maybe she doesn't let her tears pour, because death travels beyond so much more than a grieving phase, than a funeral, than black clothes, than tears, than a couple of dark years. Death becomes a legacy when the deceased dies for a greater cause. When at the pinnacle of pain feels no pain, death becomes a legacy when the deceased is our Hussein. It becomes an inspiration and not a fear when it's the effect of such a great cause, and what greater cause than God. I learned from this lady that death travels beyond so much more. That's why she won't let her tears pour. That's why she won't let her willpower shake, because everything she does, she intends it for Allah's sake. I overhear a conversation, one that shakes me to my core. She says, "Oh my sons, tonight is yours, so make me proud. Though I wished for you a shroud, I am a mother and this is so difficult, but as long as I breathe, I won't let them insult, so I pay my allegiance to Hussein with your young blood. I know in heaven, into roses you will bud. I'm sorry I can't hear what you're saying, for loudly my heart does stood." They breathe in and tense up their shoulders. They raise their voices and say, "Oh mother, we've already asked Hussein to let us fight. Brother," she says, "did you accept this sacrifice?" "Sister, I can't, they're so young." Uncle Hussein in heaven is where we belong, and crumble will our hearts if death is prolonged. "Please, oh brother," she says, her final plea, "don't let me be in shame and let them go." What patience did this mother have who requests that her sons are martyred in front row? Past the opening of my tent I see Umar ibn Sa'd in confusion, as though asking, "Is that Ali?" Stronger they get with each death that they see, like lions now set free amongst the bravest, and what else would they be? On and Muhammad, the sons of Zainab, for she was raised by a lion and the granddaughter of another. Zainab raised and was raised by lions, from her father to her brothers. They roared through the echoes like true soldiers, away they shine like stars. These are Islam's boulders that under her shade their mother didn't get to see them grow a little older. Until she too does pass, I see her burdening the weight of loss on her shoulders. Maybe that's why her back broke and she walks a little lower. Or maybe that's why to them she's a little closer, as their lifeless bodies lay on the ground. as their small armor is scattered around, and red sand them does surround. Maybe that's why her back broke, and she walks a little lower, because that way this mother to her sons is a little bit closer. I pick up my armor, I pick up my sword. Someone please hand me some arrows. Through Hussein I want to be sacrificed for my Lord. My family are dying before my eyes, and in my tent I stay. I pray and pray, I want to go in my father's way. I'm titled the adornment of worshippers. I want to go with the others, and for this I pray. Someone take me away from this tent and put me in the battlefield. I don't want heavy armor, I don't want a shield. I just want to go, because the wounds I feel will never heal. Oh, people, just know. The biggest sacrifice that I made for this deen was that I wasn't sacrificed for Hussein. I am Imam Zain, Zainul Abidin. I'll support Auntie Zainab bin Sham. I'll spread the message of Karbala. But my biggest sacrifice for this deen was that I wasn't sacrificed for Hussein. But may every breath I breathe be in his name. May every word of mine be in his memory. May during each difficulty my heart remember him who was slain. May my last heart beat Ya Hussein. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you both sisters for partaking in the majlis. I'd also like to say that if anyone wants to partake with poetry, anything you want to recite, then please contact one of the volunteers and inshallah be part of this holy month. I'd now like to invite the chairman of Muhibban al-Mahdi, Brother Raza Nakwi. Salawat.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. I won't take much of your time, but before I call the Sheikh up, if I could ask all the brothers, please, because there's not much space behind you guys, if you could all stand up and then shift as far forward and to your right as possible. صل على محمد وآل محمد. On behalf of Muhibban al-Mahdi Youth Foundation, I'd like to welcome you all to our third night of our Muharram Majalis series with renowned scholar Sheikh Muhammad Abbas Panju. We're delighted to be able to have our third consecutive series for the month of Muharram, commemorating the tragedy of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And we're overwhelmed in terms of your response the last couple of nights, and hopefully we can continue in that fervour and in that stead. But as Faizan mentioned, it takes a lot of effort, manpower, both financially and physically. So I know it's been a bit of a struggle the first two nights in terms of collecting standing orders, collecting some funds, but we are still short, and I don't like to repeatedly ask you in terms of money and donations. But if you could please, in order to keep these series going, as you can see, it's getting busier as the nights go. So please, if you can try and accommodate, as the expenses with more and more people are considerably higher. So we do need to sort of fundraise. We've got around £5,000 left to cover the expenses for the series, so we're about 60% of the way there. So please, if you could just a little more to help, keep these series going, and so we can continue to provide renowned speakers, renowned reciters, and to continue to provide the community, and especially the youth, the younger kids, who can relate to Sheikh Abbas and who can relate to the reciters, and an environment where we can facilitate both Islamic learning, Islamic development, at the same time harness your passion, your love for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and to pay homage to the greatest man, one of the greatest men, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and his sacrifice and his tragedy. So the fact that we can stand here and sit here and listen to his faza'il, to the faza'il of the Ahlul Bayt, to the actions of this remarkable progeny, we owe it to these families, and I implore upon you to help continue to support that so we can continue in greater stead. Hopefully we can expand this majalis to accommodate an even bigger crowd, and we can only do this with your support and with your help. So please, and I'm very thankful of you guys in the community and the big step we've taken in terms of having our own place for this series, and I am indebted to your support and the love that you guys have shown. So please, if you can continue, if you can stretch that a little bit further. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We're trying to accommodate for as many families and try and create a family environment as possible. So we do encourage children and little ones to attend the majalis and obviously soak in the atmosphere. But at times it can be a little bit disruptive. So over the last few nights we've taken that on board. We've actually sorted out a live stream in the back room with audio as well for the forthcoming nights. So please, just to maintain sort of the atmosphere and the sanctity of the majalis, if your children are sort of being a little bit disruptive for a short period of time, if you don't mind taking them to the back creche, and that would be great, and it will add so we can concentrate in terms of, it can be a bit of a distraction for the speaker and for the audience to focus and listen to the majalis. So if you could please just take that on board, and there are facilities which are adequate now in the back, so salawat. And without further ado, if you could invite Sheikh Muhammad Abbas Panju for the third majalis of his series. And today he will be looking and beginning an analysis of the Adhan. And it's a 3-part mini-series, inshallah, with the first of the 3 parts to begin today. Salawat.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أحبائي, before we begin, there is a request that we have amongst ourselves a 9-month-old child who is not in the best of health, and through the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mercy of Allah and the intercession of Ahlul Bayt, for this 9-month child, and together with anyone of the mu'mineen and mu'minat who are not in the best of health, may we recite 5 times Amma yujibu, all together in our loudest of voices. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mudtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. اللهم إنا نسألك بحق أهل بيت النبوة وبحق مولانا أبي الفضل العباس. Ya Allah, we seek your intercession through Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas to cure all those mu'mineen and mu'minat who are not in the best of health in the fastest of ways. And all of this with a loud barakat of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما ولي الله الحجة ابن الحسن صاحب الأمر والزمان. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. يا غريب الغرباء، يا مظلوم كربلاء، السلام على من جعل الله الشفاء في تربته، السلام على من الإجابة تحت قبته، السلام على ساكن كربلاء. فيا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي، يا سادتي، فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. صدق الله العلي العظيم وآمنا به. نوروا مجالسكم بذكر محمد وآل محمد. The Adhan is a central and an important aspect of the religion of Islam, and it is generally perceived to be a universal call towards prayer. Having said this, you find that the Shias and the followers of Ali Muhammad in particular have been accused of being heretics and have been accused of bid'ah through the addition of the phrase Aliyun Waliyullah within the Adhan. And in fact, you find that these accusations against the followers of Ali Muhammad have happened or have been throughout the period of time. And you find that when majority in history of those who accuse the Ali Muhammad of heretics, the followers of Ali Muhammad of heretical behavior or of introducing innovations of the religion, they would be from those who sympathized with Bani Umayyah. However, you find that in recent history and over the last few years, there has been a systematic attack on the Adhan in itself and the phrases that make up the Adhan by so-called Shi'as. Certain intellectuals who claim to be from the adherents of the Wilayah of Amirul Mu'mineen under the banner of reformation have come forward and themselves have claimed that the phrase Aliyun Waliyullah is an innovation that has no absolute basis within the Adhan. They further go ahead and they say, or they claim furthermore to that the introduction of Aliyun Waliyullah within the Adhan only occurred 500 to 600 years after the martyrdom of the Holy Prophet, and its introduction was based on a political stance to distinguish themselves from the rest of the Muslim Ummah, and that in this day and age, in the 21st century, with all the political, religious, and social problems that we face, the Shi'as, when they insist on the recitation of Aliyun Waliyullah on the Adhan or in the Adhan, this causes nothing more than sectarian tension. Tayyib. This is the claim that is being brought forward by certain Shia intellectuals, and they use this premise by way of reformation to stop the recitation of Aliyun Waliyullah in the Adhan within a number of centers across the world. For the first thing that we keep in mind is that the hujum, the attack, is not from the outsider or the enemy of Tashayyu'. These are objections that are put forward by people who claim to be from within the madhab. Our plan, insha'Allah, is to be able, and I choose these words very carefully, our plan, insha'Allah, over the next 3 nights is to be able to establish the validity of the phrase Aliyun Waliyullah in Adhan, the fact that it was a part of the Adhan and that it has deep roots within the institution of Adhan in itself, and at the same time we shall look at the fatawa or the edicts of the maraja from the past and the present and analyze their stance on this phrase Aliyun Waliyullah within the Adhan. In order to get to this maqam, in order to get to this great conclusion, Ahibba'i, I want to take you on a journey for the next 3 nights. A very strategic analysis and an academically built step-by-step analysis of the Adhan, which will eventually get us to our conclusion on the 3rd night. For insha'Allah, if you are able to bear with me and you are able to have patience until we get to this natija, we begin tonight insha'Allah by first of all analyzing the history of the Adhan, in the sense that what does the word Adhan mean? How is the word Adhan or the derivatives of the word Adhan, how are they used within the Quran? Number 1. Number 2, what is the philosophy of Adhan, in that what does the Adhan represent? Number 2. And number 3, what is the origin of the Adhan? how did this adhan come about? Where did this institution of adhan arise from? Insha'Allah, the plan is within the time that is allocated, we are able to fulfill these, or we are able to cover these 3 points, and insha'Allah tomorrow the continuation. All this with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When you are to analyze the word adhan within the Quran, or the different derivatives of the word adhan, you find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran uses the word adhan in different contexts. But when you put them all together, you see that there is a common underlining theme in regards to this institution of adhan. How is the word adhan used in the Quran, and for what purpose is it used? Our first stop in this analysis is Suratul Hajj. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, verse number 27. Bismillah, and this is a Quran that all Muslims believe in, not a Quran that is particular to the Shia, wala to any other law. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Suratul Hajj. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. This is a verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the call of Ibrahim, inviting the people towards Hajj upon the completion of the building of the Kaaba, where the verse says, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ. Allah is telling Ibrahim alayhi salam, give the adhan to the people in regards to Hajj. So adhan over here, call the people towards Hajj, an invitation towards this grand institution of Hajj, where a person circumambulates around the Kaaba, professing his belief in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, you find that in this verse of the Quran, in Suratul Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word wa'adhin. What we understand is one of the meanings of adhan over here is an invitation towards Hajj. Now when you refer back to Mufassirin of the Quran, and you look back at the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt that are established and that are related to this verse of the Quran, you find that Imam as-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, he says that when Nabiullah Ibrahim completed building the Kaaba with the help of his son Ismail, and Allah commanded him to invite the people towards Hajj, Tayyib Ibrahim alayhi salam was in the city of Mecca, a city which was primarily deserted. If he was to announce the people and invite them to Hajj, who was there to hear him? It wasn't like there was a congregation and that Mecca was a city that was flourishing and it occupied by people. Imam as-Sadiq tells us in the hadith, the Maqam Ibrahim that we see when we go for Hajj or Umrah, the stone that has the footprint of Nabi Ibrahim. Imam as-Sadiq says that Nabi Ibrahim stood on this stone and he cried out to the people, inviting them to Hajj. But the call of Ibrahim was a call that was special, and a call that had an element of ghaib inside of it, in that the call of Ibrahim to Hajj transcends time and space. It was a call that was not restricted by the human voice to only be heard by the human ear, but rather it was a call towards Hajj, yes, emanating from a human voice, but that voice was to be heard even in Alam al-Dhar. Such that Imam as-Sadiq says, when Ibrahim called out for Hajj, the entire mankind, whether they have the entire mankind from that point onwards, who is going to be created until Yawmul Qiyamah, their essential souls or their realities contained within Alam al-Dhar responded to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Which is why Imam as-Sadiq says, those people who responded at that time to Nabi Ibrahim once, in this dunya they go for Hajj once. Those who responded to Nabi Ibrahim at that time 20 times, they go for Hajj in this dunya 20 times. Those who didn't respond at all, don't go for Hajj at all. And you find over here that from this tafsir of the Quran, we understand that the call of Nabi Ibrahim towards Hajj is given the term, or the word that is used is adhin. Make an announcement, inviting people towards monotheism. So the first meaning of the word adhan is an invitation. You come and you find the second place in the Quran where the word adhan is used, Surah Tawbah or Surah Al-Bara'ah. In the beginning, this is a surah of the Holy Quran that doesn't have any Bismillah at the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, verse number 3, وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِلَى النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ. You find in Surah At-Tawbah, Allah says an adhan from Allah and from His Prophet to the people on the day of Hajj. This adhan is a declaration. So the word adhan over here means declaration. A declaration towards what? أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ. That Allah Azza wa Jal and the Holy Prophet disassociate themselves from the idolaters tamaman. This verse has a big context, and this announcement was made by Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For in this verse of the Quran, during the time when the Holy Prophet, having returned after Fathul Makkah, returns after conquering Makkah, on this day of Hajj, he makes this announcement that Allah and the Holy Prophet are disassociate themselves from all the idolaters. And this announcement in itself, an announcement of disassociation, was to mark the beginning of the fact that the Muslims will have the right to engage in self-defense if any one of the idolaters transgressed on the lives or the properties of the Muslims within the Muslim cities and countries. You find that there is a background to this, and unfortunately it is not within the scope of our majlis today. But Surah At-Tawbah and perhaps the first 10 verses of Surah At-Tawbah are verses that are used by present day Bani Umayyah, the likes of Daesh and Taliban and Boko Haram wa ma adri shu. They come and they justify their killings and they justify acts of terrorism by many references to Surah At-Tawbah and Bara'ah, having failed to understand that these verses of disassociation only mark self-defense in the light of aggression. And this is even after having made multiple warnings. In any case, you find that from Surah At-Tawbah, the word adhan is used as a declaration of disassociation. So you find that from the two verses of the Quran that we have analyzed, from Surah Al-Hajj and from Surah At-Tawbah so far, the first meaning of the word adhan is an invitation towards monotheism. Number two, the word adhan means a declaration of disassociation. Tayyib. Number three, Surah Al-A'raf. The third usage and the third meaning of the word adhan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ أن قد وجدنا ما وعدنا ربنا حقا فهل وجدتم ما وعد ربكم حقا قالوا نعم فأذن مؤذن بينهم أن لعنة الله على الظالمين. This verse talks about a part of the day of judgment where the dwellers of Jannah will communicate with the dwellers of Jahannam wal-ayadhu billah. Many times we wonder, will the people of Jannah be able to communicate with the people of Jahannam? Tab'an, yes. According to the Quran, yes. And particularly in this verse. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala predicts, not Allah predicts, Allah has knowledge of everything. But in the way that we understand, we are being foretold the reality that will occur in the future. You see, the Quran is a book that foretells the future and foretells man's destiny in black and white. Ajib jiddan. You find that people will pay perhaps hundreds if not thousands of pounds to fortune tellers to try and figure out for them what lies for them in their destiny and their future, whether there is goodness or whether there is khair or whether there is evil, and what they can do to protect themselves. Why? So they can prepare accordingly. People go and spend the money with fortune tellers. People go crazy over horoscopes to know what's going to happen. Habibi, the book of the Quran tells you the future very clearly. Depending on the choices that you make today, what your outcome will be. Not only in this world, but in the akhirah. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse of the Quran foretells a conversation that is going to happen, or that is going to occur between the dwellers of Jannah and the dwellers of Jahannam. Where the verse says, people of Jannah, the dwellers of Jannah shall call out to the dwellers of Jahannam, and they shall ask them, فَهَلْ وَجَدْتُمْ مَا وَعَدَ رَبُّكُمْ حَقًّا? They will say, we have found whatever our Lord promised us in the dunya. Today we have found this promise to be true. All those promises in the world of eternal bliss and eternal happiness and satisfaction and purity, all those traditions and verses of the Quran which we believed in, and because of that belief we were persecuted, because of that belief we endured difficulty after difficulty. What allows these people to endure difficulty in life in the way of religion? Nothing more than the promise of a blissful eternity within the Quran and the Hadith. So when they actually enter into Jannah, they say all these verses of the Quran, all these promises, we now see it actualized and fulfilled. So they turn to the people of Jahannam and they say, how did you find the promise of your Lord in the Akhirah? All those tyrants and all those oppressors. Verses of the Quran that promise chastisement to those who oppress other people in life. Chastisement for those who cause havoc on earth. Chastisement for those who instigate bloodshed. Allah is the Rahman and the Rahim. Allah forgives and loves without doubt. But there are certain crimes, ahibai, that cannot be forgiven. Dictators who push nations through wars and leave behind millions of widows and orphans, who will live a life of destitute and a life of poverty and humility until their souls leave their bodies. People like these, for them there is eternal chastisement. For the people of Jannah, ask them, all those verses of the Quran that you used to read, warning you, do not be an oppressor. Do not spill the blood of other people. Do not persecute other people, that there will be a punishment. In the dunya you people didn't pay attention to this. In the dunya these verses didn't create any sort of awareness. You weren't affected by the words of guidance. How do you find the promise of Allah in regards to the chastisement? Over here, they will say, yes, indeed, now we regret. Today, we are suffering from the chastisement of the fire of hell. If only we sought guidance, if only we were careful and listened in the dunya, today we would not be in this situation. And at this point of acknowledgement, the verse says, فَأَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ بَيْنَهُمْ أَنَّ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ. At this point, when the conversation between the people of Jannah and the conversation of Jahannam is happening, a mu'adhin shall come out and give adhan. Yani he shall make an announcement or a declaration that the mercy of Allah does not encompass the oppressors. Be very, very careful when it comes to oppressing other people or taking the rights away of any other individual. So you find over here that the adhan is an announcement that distinguishes haqq from batil. These are three meanings of the word adhan in the Quran. The fourth meaning of the word adhan in the Quran, inshallah, this is something that is beneficial, and hopefully you are not getting too bored with the verses of the Quran. Inshallah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Tayyib. So the word adhan is used in these three contexts within the Quran. What word is used to signify or indicate the call of prayer? Because within the fiqh, we generally use the word adhan for call of prayer. Is the word adhan used for the call of prayer? Inside of the Quran, you find that the verb that is used is different and the noun that is used is different. Like in Suratul Jumu'ah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, idha nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ah, fas'aw ila dhikrillah wa dharul bay'. On the day of Friday, O you who believe, on that day of Friday, yani this is particularly for Salatul Jumu'ah, when you are called towards prayers. Idha nudiya, the verb that is used is nudiya, from nada munadin. When the call is made towards the prayer on Friday, rush towards that prayer. So you find over here that the invitation to salat, the verb that is used is nada or nudiya, call out. So over here, it can be used as a synonym with the word adhan. And we understand this from the hadith, because Rasulullah said, Inni tarikun fikum thaqalain, kitabullahi wa itrati. When we see that Ahlul Bayt have used the word adhan to signify the call of prayer, we also use the word adhan. But the word in the Quran is idha nudiya, nada. Nada yani to call out. Having said this, you find that the verse of the Quran that is particularly related to the adhan, as per the mufassirin of the Quran, is this. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. From Suratul Fussilat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. What better word is there than for a person who calls out towards Allah? Mimman da'a ilallah. Da'a from the word dua, yani to invite towards. So Allah says, what better word than to invite towards? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Where did the verse go? وَمَنْ أَحْسَنَ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ, who calls towards Allah. وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا, and calls towards good deeds and says, indeed I'm a Muslim. So the word over here is da'a, to call towards Allah, to call towards good deeds, and to attest that I am a Muslim. Mufassirin of the Quran have said that this verse of the Quran was revealed in honor of the Adhan. Yani it was after the revelation of this verse that the Adhan was introduced into Islam. So when we are understanding the concept of Adhan, you find that within the Quran, the word dua and the word nida, from its derivative nudia, is used for Adhan. So from here you understand that the word Adhan, by the meaning nudia, to call out, da'a, to invite. From the verse of Ibrahim, the announcement towards monotheism. From the verse of the Akhirah, a declaration that separates haq from batil. When you put all of these meanings together, you find that the underlining theme of the Adhan is that it is an invitation towards truth and an invitation towards monotheism. Now, if we understand this, we come and we bring the hadith of Imam Rida, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. In the book Man La Yahdaruhu al-Faqih by Sheikh al-Saduq, there is a hadith narrated by Fadl ibn Shadhan, one of the companions of Imam al-Rida. And he asks Imam Rida, for what reason was the Adhan established in Islam? Imam Rida gives 8 reasons as to why the Adhan was ordained within Islam. We will not go through all 8 of them. But from these 8, Imam Rida says the first reason, yani this is the philosophy behind the Adhan. The first reason for the ordainment of Adhan, he says, تَذْكِيرًا لِلْوَقْتِ. He says it is to remind the people for the time of prayers, for the one who forgot about it or is ignorant of the time of prayer. And this is what we generally understand from Adhan, that the Adhan is supposed to be a reminder that the time of Salat has now set in. But is this the only meaning of Adhan? La. Adhan means something much greater than this. It is important, it's a universal language to invite people towards Salat, indicating that the time of Salat has come. But this is not the only meaning of Adhan. The meaning of Adhan is something much greater, like the way Imam Rida says. What else does the Adhan represent? Ya Ibna Rasulillah, Ya Imam Rida. He says, in addition to that, he says that the Adhan, it is supposed to be وَالْمُؤَذِّنْ دَاعِيًا لِإِبَادَةِ الْخَالِقِ وَمُرَغِّبًا بِهَا. The mu'adhin, when he recites the Adhan, one of the reasons behind the Adhan is to invite people towards obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in addition to that, it is supposed to encourage people to hasten towards ibadah. Look at now, the dynamics of the Adhan has changed altogether. Now it's not only about Salat, it's about worship towards your Lord in its entirety. More than that, Imam Rida comes and says, and in addition to this, he says, وَمُكِرًّا بِالتَّوْحِيدِ. The Adhan is supposed to represent your attestation towards the oneness of Allah. Every time you recite the Adhan, every time the Adhan is heard, this is a public attestation of your belief in the oneness of God. Something much greater. We are moving further and further away from the parameters of Salat. It is not just something that is fiqhi. Law is something much greater. Ba'ad yabna Rasulillah. What else does the Adhan represent? He says, وَالْمُؤَذِّن, when he gives the Adhan, وَمُجَاهِرًا بِالْإِيمَانِ. The recitation of the Adhan is a public attestation of your Iman, of your faith in every tenet of the religion of Islam. More than that, Yabna Rasulillah, he says, وَمُؤْلِنًا لِلْإِسْلَامِ. This is an announcement that you are a Muslim from the Ummah of Rasulullah. From here, we understand from the words of the Quran that the theme behind the usage of the word Adhan, that it is based around the concept of declarations and the concept of announcements. And when we look at the hadith of Imam Rida, we see again it's an announcement of your faith and a declaration of your faith. From here we begin to understand that the institution of Adhan is a declaration of your faith and a declaration of your identity. Our concept of Adhan has changed. It's not just something that is a mustahab act in order for you to get thawab and yalla recite the salat. Abadan la. There is a hadith, or there are a number of hadith that you find, for example, in Wasa'ilu Shia, where Rasulullah talks about the thawab of a mu'adhin. The rewards that a mu'adhin gets. In one of the hadith it mentions that the mu'adhin who gives the adhan in a non-Islamic land gets the thawab of a person who is doing jihad in the way of Allah. Why? Because of what the adhan represents. Do not take the adhan to be something light. An attestation of your faith and an attestation of your identity. Which is why when Imam Zainul Abidin comes back from Karbala, somebody comes and asks Imam Sajjad, so who won in the battle of Karbala? Was it Yazid or was it your father Hussein? Imam Sajjad replies back to him by saying, listen, if you want to know who is the winner from this battle of Karbala, then wait for the time of Adhan. When you hear the Mu'adhin say, Allahu Akbar, know who the winner is, and that is my father, Hussein ibn Ali. The Adhan represents your attestation and your submission, attestation in Shahada, in the Tawheed of Allah, and your belief in Islam. If you understand this, Imam Rida says that the Adhan is mu'linan lil Islam, your announcement that you are a Muslim and that you follow Islam. Tayyib. Where does the wilayah of Amirul Mu'mineen come inside of this? Look at how we connect the dots. Imam Rida says that the Adhan represents your attestation and your declaration that you believe in Islam. And then on the day of Ghadir, hadith which is anonymous between the Amma and the Khassa in regards to the verse of the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakumul Islam dina. This verse was revealed on Eidul Ghadir when Rasulullah said, Man kuntum mawla fahada aliyun mawla. Yani on the day of Ghadir, with the announcement of Amirul Mu'mineen to be the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this verse of the Quran was revealed, and today your deen has been perfected and Allah is pleased with your Islam, or Allah is pleased with Islam as your religion. Allah is pleased. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Allah is pleased with Islam. Which Islam? The Islam that has the wilayah of Maulana Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Refer back to all the tafasir, whether it is tafsir of Suyuti, Durrul Manthur, or anyone from the Amma, you find all of them say that this verse was revealed on the day of Ghadir when Rasulullah made this completion. So, if the Islam which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has approved is the Islam that has the wilayah of Amirul Mu'mineen, and over here Imam Rida says that the Adhan is an announcement of your Islam, we hereby understand that the phrase, uttering the phrase Aliyun Waliyullah within the Adhan is an attestation and an acceptance and a declaration that you believe in that Islam which Allah is pleased with. Ahibai, this one is a side conclusion. We have not even got to the hadith that speak about Aliyun Waliyullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Tayyib. So if you understand, this is the philosophy of the Adhan, a declaration of your faith in Islam, and a declaration that you're in your belief in monotheism, an invitation towards righteousness and goodness. The next step and the last step is that we ask ourselves, where did the Adhan come from? How was the Adhan originated? Where did it come from? And we have two contradicting schools of thought that speak about the origin of the Adhan. You have from the Amma, from the non-Shi'as, and this is narrated in the book of Tirmidhi, where their narration states that during the times when the Holy Prophet had ordained and established the Salat, he got together with his companions in the mosque in Medina, and they were contemplating, almost like a brainstorming session. Well, the word brainstorming is not used in Tirmidhi, but we are paraphrasing, in the sense that it was something like that. The Prophet got together with his companions within the mosque, and they were sitting and deciding and pondering over what would be the best way to invite the people towards the time of Salat. So, in this general discussion, some of the people recommended to the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, in order to alert the people that the time of Salat has come in, we should ring a bell. Just like the way the Christians, the followers of Nabi Isa do. When the time of the prayers start, they ring the bell. So, Ya Rasulullah, we should also ring a bell. The narration further goes on to say in Tirmidhi that night the Holy Prophet was not really happy with this suggestion, because it is very similar to the practices of the Christians when it is time for their prayers, at least at that time. So the Holy Prophet was not happy with this, and that seating had no conclusion. It was inconclusive. So that day, one of the companions of the Holy Prophet by the name of Abdullah ibn Zayd went to sleep. And in his sleep, in his dream, he sees some random old person come to him selling bells. So Abdullah ibn Zayd said to him in his dream, "Oh man, if you're selling bells, I would like to buy a bell." So the person asked him, "And what do you want to do with the bell?" Abdullah ibn Zayd said to him, "Oh man, this random person in the dream who is selling bells." Abdullah ibn Zayd says to him, "Oh man, if you sell me the bell, I will use it to invite people towards Salat. I will ring the bell every time the time of Salat comes in, and people will know that the time of prayer has come in." So the man said to Abdullah ibn Zayd, the companion of the Holy Prophet, "Shall I teach you a better way to invite people towards Salat?" Abdullah ibn Zayd said, "Yes, teach me." And then this random person in the dream taught Abdullah ibn Zayd that instead of ringing a bell, you should start reciting Adhan. And the Adhan is Allahu Akbar a number of times, and Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah number of times, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah number of times, until the end. Abdullah ibn Zayd woke up absolutely inspired. He went to Rasulullah and said, "Ya Rasulallah, I saw in a dream that this person taught me the Adhan, and it is Allahu Akbar and Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah and Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." When Rasulullah heard this, he was very happy, and he said, "This is a very good thing. Go and teach the Adhan to Bilal." And from here the Adhan was established. This is as per the view of Tirmidhi. Do we accept this view? Do the followers of Ahlul Bayt accept this view? What is their opinion on the origination of the Adhan? Somebody comes and asks Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada Aba Abdullah alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Hadith is narrated in the book Mustadrak al-Wasail. He says, "Yabna Rasulillah, the people amongst us say that the Adhan was revealed through a dream to Abdullah ibn Zayd." Imam al-Hussein turned around to this person and he says, "Does it make sense that the revelation in regards to the entire deen comes upon Rasulullah through Jibreel, but the issue of Adhan comes on the random companion in the form of a dream?" He says, "Yabna Rasulullah, then how did the Adhan come about?" Then Imam al-Hussein clarifies for him, and he says to him that Allah Azza wa Jal, on the night that Rasulullah ascended towards the heaven during the time of Isra, or the occasion of Isra and Mi'raj, when Rasulullah was raised up towards the heavens, it is Jibreel who taught Rasulullah the actual formulation of the Adhan. So as per the thought of the school of Ahlul Bayt, the establishment and the origin of Adhan is through the wahi of Allah Azza wa Jal. It was revealed to Rasulullah during the period of Mi'raj, and there was a set formulation of what should be said, how many times it should be said. Rasulullah then taught this Adhan to Bilal, which was then announced and recited and used up till the time of the life or before the martyrdom of Rasulullah. And then there were a number of changes that systematically happened, which hopefully we shall discuss over the following nights. But to end tonight's discussion, we learn a number of things. Number one, the origin of the Adhan was not through a random dream that some random that some Abdullah ibn Zayd saw in his dream. La, it was wahi that descended upon the Rasulullah during the time of Mi'raj. In fact, the hadith from Imam as-Sadiq goes on to say that Jibreel gave the Adhan, and then Rasulullah led a salat in which the remaining of the 123,999 prophets recited salat behind him. For number one, Adhan has a divine origin revealed on Rasulullah during the time of Mi'raj. Number two, the Adhan is not only restricted in its function as solely inviting people towards prayer, like an alarm clock. La, the Adhan, in addition to reminding people the time of Salat has come, signifies something much greater, and that is your attestation, public attestation of your faith and your Iman, and in essence your identity. And from here we come and we look at the rationality and the validity of using or uttering or declaring Aliyun Waliyullah within the Adhan, because it is a part of our identity, and the perfection of Islam happened upon the appointment of Amirul Mu'mineen. The continuation of this majlis, inshallah, with the rest of the points for tomorrow night. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Masa'ib for tonight, Ahibai. The tragedy of the children of Muslim bin Aqil. Muslim bin Aqil, it is narrated, had 5 sons and 1 daughter by the name of Hamida. Hamida was about the same age as Sayyidah Ruqayya, or who in the subcontinent we called Sakina, 3 or 4-year-old daughter of Muslim bin Aqil. His one son Ali, the son of Muslim bin Aqil. Majority of the people, the scholars of Rijal, say that Ali, the whereabouts of Ali are majhul, is unknown. And history has truly oppressed Muslim bin Aqil and the children of Muslim bin Aqil, in that there is no recorded whereabouts of how he lived, or the manner in which he died, or the manner in which he was killed. As for the remaining 4 sons of Imam Muslim bin Aqil, 2 of them were martyred in Karbala, defending Imam al-Hussein. One of them by the name Abdullah, and the other name by the name Muhammad. And the historians within the Maqatil mention the manner in which Abdullah, the son of Muslim bin Aqil, was killed. They say that when he went out on the battlefield, he was so courageous, the people were not able to attack him. They were not able to overcome him. So they started throwing stones at him from every direction. And as Abdullah ibn Muslim bin Aqil, Abdullah the son of Muslim bin Aqil, was protecting himself, one of the narrators mentioned that one of the enemies of Allah came and shot an arrow from a very close distance distance to Abdullah ibn Muslim. The distance was so short and the force of the arrow, it was coming towards the face of Abdullah. The narration mentions that when Abdullah saw the arrow coming towards him, he tried to protect his face with his hand, but the arrow pierced through his palm and got stuck towards his forehead. Allahu Akbar. And this is how Abdullah, the son of Muslim bin Aqil, fell down to the ground. Tonight's Masaib, I want to recite for you the two children of Muslim bin Aqil, who are very famously known as Tiflan Muslim. And their haram, their shrine is in Musayyab, just a few kilometers outside of Karbala. Sheikh al-Saduq mentions that these two children were captured from the tents of Imam al-Hussein on the night after Ashura, Yani Sham-e Ghariban, when the tents were lit on fire and the women and the children were running in every direction. These two children of Muslim bin Aqil ran and were captured by the enemies. They were then taken, these two children, Muhammad and Ibrahim. They were not older than 12 years of age. Majority of the people who have recorded their ages say that they were not older than 12. Little children, 11 and 12 if anything. They were captured and they were put in imprisonment in Kufa under the prison of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad for an entire year. After 1 year, these two children managed to escape from the prison. When they escaped from prison in the city of Kufa, like their father, Muslim bin Aqil, don't know where to go and where to seek refuge. So these two little children, hungry and thirsty, ended up in front of the house of some woman who happened to be from the lovers of Ahlul Bayt. They said to her, "Oh woman, if you give us refuge for the period of 1 night, at least we shall be able to sleep, and in the morning we shall continue to take the path wherever life takes us." Two children, aitam, don't know where their fathers are, don't know where their mother is, don't know where their tribe or their family is. Allahu Akbar. The last thing they saw is the massacre of their uncle Hussein in Karbala. The narrations mention the woman gives them safety in the house. She feeds them and she quenches their thirst. These two children go to sleep. The narration explicitly mentions the children were so scared, Muhammad and Ibrahim, that when they fell asleep, they hugged each other to sleep, such that they would be able to seek comfort from each other. In the middle of the night, the children are fast asleep. This woman who gave them safety, her son La'in was from the soldiers of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. He comes home and he says to his mother, "Oh mother, two children of Muslim bin Aqil have escaped from prison, and Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad has promised a reward of 2,000 dirhams for anyone who captures these two children." The mother says, "Oh son, do not sell your akhirah by shedding the blood of pure children from the lineage of Ahlul Bayt." The man begins to get doubts why the mother is talking in this way. He enters into the back room. He sees the two children, Muhammad and Ibrahim, sons of Muslim bin Aqil, sleeping next to each other. He wakes them up and he says, "Who are you two children?" They say, "Oh man, we ask you to promise by Allah and to take a pledge. If we tell you, you will not harm us." The man took a qasam and said, "I swear by Allah, I shall not harm you." Little children, innocent, when you take a qasam in front of them, they believe in you. Muhammad and Ibrahim trusted in the man. They said, "Oh man, we are the children of Muslim bin Aqil who have escaped from prison." When the man heard this, his eyes lit up and said, "Well, you have come to the right place, for indeed I shall take your severed heads to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad." The children were filled with panic. The hadith mentions that this man La'in slapped Ibrahim so hard across the face. He slapped Ibrahim so hard across the face, the little boy began to bleed from his nose and from his lips. The time of Fajr came. The man tied the hands of these two children behind their back. He took them towards the river Furat. The river Furat also flows through the city of Kufa. They are in the city of Kufa. He takes them towards the bank of river Furat, and he has a servant who is from Africa. He says to the servant, "Oh servant, I want you to behead these two children and come to me with their severed heads so that I can gather my reward." As the servant goes with a sword towards Muhammad and Ibrahim, they look towards the servant and they say to him, "Oh man, you represent and your face reminds us of the face of Bilal, the mu'adhin of Rasulullah. Please do not ruin your akhirah and enter into Jahannam for eternity by shedding our blood." The words of these two children had so much impact on the servant that he threw the sword and jumped into the river. He told his master that I shall never kill these children. In essence, in the end, the Maktal narrates that the man himself came towards the two children, ready to sever their heads. Muhammad and Ibrahim said, "Oh man, if you must kill us, allow us to recite 4 rakat salat of shukr towards Allah." The man says, "If pray as much as you want, if it shall help you." The two children finished their salat. They hugged each other for a final time, and then they raised their hands towards the heaven. Ibrahim said, "Ya Allah, you bear witness that we are the grandchildren of Rasulullah. We are the grandchildren of Rasulullah, and this is how we have been persecuted." The narration mentions the man took the elder son Ibrahim. He lay him down by the bank of the Furat. He lifted his sword. He struck Ibrahim from the back of the head. Wa Sayyida! He severed the head from the body immediately. The younger brother Muhammad, he threw himself on the body of his brother. Ahibai, I don't know if you have the power to picture this in your mind. You have a 10-year-old boy who is on the headless body of his brother. The narration mentions he took the blood from the severed jugular vein. He wiped it on his face. He wiped it on his chest. He said, "Ya Allah." He said, "Ya Allah, this is how I will be raised on the day of judgment, with the blood of my brother on my body." At this moment, the lion struck Muhammad as well. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Two headless bodies. The narration mentions that he threw the two bodies into the river Furat. Allahu Akbar. This is the last part of the Masa'ib. This is the last part of the Masa'ib. But think about this, my brothers and sisters. These two little boys were killed and beheaded in Kufa. Their bodies were thrown into the Furat. But today when you go to visit their shrines, you see that they were buried in the town of Musayyab, which is almost 120 kilometers from Kufa, where they were beheaded. This allows us, this allows us to understand, Ahibai, that the bodies of these two bodies floated in the river Furat for 100 kilometers before they were married. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Matam Hussein.
and Ya Hussein. Yeah. لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 لبيك اللهم لبیک مثل مرغ بی پربار تا افتادی بین گلدان مثل مرغ بی پربار تا افتادی بین گلدان شد ذکر لبهای خشکت لبیک اللهم لبیک لبیک الله لبیک لبیک اللهم لبیک. Our home is Karbala. We are the youth of Shia. Hussein's flag is our treasure. We will fly it forever. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Hussein, just like Abbas, we'll plant the flag with our hands, one for every grain of sand, throughout each and every land. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Ya Hussein, Hussein, Ya Hussein, and Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Na bajde gode tu ghazilanda, na sarbar na main sham jaundi, na sarbar tu ghazilanda. Na bajde gode tu ghazilanda, na sarbar na main sham jaundi, na bajde gode tu ghazilanda, main sham jaundi. Na to ke gal vich sajad panda, na sarbar na main sham jaundi, na bajde gode tu ghazilanda, na sarbar na main sham jaundi, na bajde gode tu ghazilanda, na sarbar na main sham jaundi, na bajde gode. بجدے گھوڑے تو غازیاں دا میں شام جان جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا نہ کھلا اکبر دی لاش چاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی میں شام جان نہ تو کہ گل وچ سجاد پاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا جان جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا نہ کلا اکبر دی لاش چاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ مل کے بولو میں شام جاندی نہ تو کہ گل وچ سجاد پاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا میں شام جان جے میرے غازی بیرانہ مردا میں شام دے وچ کدی نہ رلدی جے میرے غازی بیرانہ مردا میں شام دے وچ کدی نہ رلدی نہ کوئی باغی دی بین آندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جان نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے غازی لاندا نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے جان نہ تو کہ گل وچ سجاد پاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے نہ سر برہنا شام جان جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا جے میرے غازی نو تو لڑن دی کدی اجازت حسین دیندا نہ کلا اکبر دی لاش چاندا نہ سر برہنا میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر جان نہ توک گل وچ سجاد پاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ میں شام جان حسین رہی میرے دل چی حسرت میں تیرے لاشے تے وین پوندی حسین رہی میرے دل چی حسرت میں تیرے لاشے تے وین پوندی نہ جن کا دے کے کوئی اٹھاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بج گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بج بج جاندی نہ بجدے گو نہ سر میں شام جان نہ توک گل وچ سجاد پاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی نہ بجدے گھوڑے تو غازی لاندا نہ سر برہ نہ میں شام جاندی میں شام اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لا علی اکبر اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لاش علی اکبر ہوتا تو نے تو بیٹا میرے لاشا کو اٹھانا ہوتا تو نے تو بیٹا ہے میرے لاشا کو اٹھانا ہے اے غیرت مریم تیرا باز ہے اے جانا ہے نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ اے غیرت مریم اے غیرت مریم ہائے کیوں زینب و کلثوم کی چنتی ہے ردائے کیوں زینب و کلثوم کی چنتی ہے ردائے جاؤ ارے لوگو میرے غازی کو بلانا جاؤ ارے لوگو میرے غازی کو بلانا اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا ہے. ماشاء اللہ. میں جانا ہے نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ, نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ. اے غیرت مریم اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لاش علی اکبر, اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لاش علی اکبر. ہوتا تو نے تو بیٹا میرے لاشا کو اٹھانا تھا, تو نے تو بیٹا میرے لاشا کو اٹھانا. اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا, اے غیرت مریم تیرا بازار میں جانا. اے میں جانا ہے نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ, نہ بھول سکے گا اس حشر زمانہ. اے غیرت مریم تیرا بات اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لاش علی اکبر, اٹھتی نہیں بابا سے تیری لاش علی اکبر. ہوتا تو نے تو بیٹا میرے لاشا کو اٹھانا. علامہ 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 ہے علامہ 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 ہے علامہ علامہ ہے گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں, گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں زینب تھی درمیان. علامہ 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 جیو ہائے گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں، گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں زینب تھی درمیان، علامہ ہائے ہائے حیران ہو بازار سے کیسے گزر گئی، حیران ہو بازار سے کیسے گزر گئی، تطہیر کی پلیتی، تطہیر کی پلیتی بازار کا سامان، علامہ 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 ہائے گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں، گستاخ کے ہجوم میں زینب تھی درمیان، علامہ 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 ہائے گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں، گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں زینب تھی درمیان، علامہ 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 کیسے اٹھائے لاش کو مظلوم چل دیے، کیسے اٹھائے لاش کو مظلوم چل دیے، شبیر کی ضعیفی، شبیر کی ضعیفی اکبر سا نوجوان، علامہ 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 ہائے گستاخوں کے ہجوم میں، گستاخ میں زینب تھی درمیان، علامہ 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 یہ سوچ کے سجاد کا دل خون رو پڑا، یہ سوچ کے سجاد کا دل خون رو پڑا، تفسیر بیرداتی، تفسیر بیرداتی نیزے پہ تا قرآن، علامہ 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 یا سری الرضا یا سری الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك یا من اسم وذکرہ شفا وطاعتہ تو ہی کبیر تو ہی کبریا تو راہنما رگے گلو سے بھی نزدیک تو ہر ایک لمحہ ہے تیرے نام کی تاثیر ہر مرض کی دوا ہے تیرے ذکر میں پوشیدہ میرے حق میں شفا بغیر مانگے ہی کرتا ہے تو عطا پہ عطا بغیر مانگے ہی کرتا ہے تو عطا پہ عطا صدا سے پہلے ہی سنتا ہے سائلوں کی صدا یا سری اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك یا من اسمہ دوا علی وسیلہ بنے اور کمیل پائے شفا اسی کے نام سے منسوب ہو گئی یہ دعا شب جمعہ ہے دعائے کمیل شکر تیرا یہ ابتدا ہے جو ہے انتہا حدیث قصہ الہی تیری رضا کے سوا کچھ اور نہیں الہی تیری رضا کے سوا کچھ اور نہیں کہ میرے پاس دعا کے سوا کچھ اور نہیں یا سری اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا خاتم الأنبياء